I have to start with, you met Barbara a while ago and kept in touch, I understand, but can you describe that moment when you found out that you were going to be the new Bond villain?
It's interesting because I want to start with Barbara and say, there was a moment in Los Angeles where she saw me after a film, maybe I did a decade ago. And we sat down, and I couldn't believe that Barbara wanted to have a meeting with me. I was just, I wouldn't say starting out, but it was an early film that I had done. And she recognized something that I just appreciated that moment. And she said, one day we are going to work together. I never thought it would be on a Bond film. So I was really taken aback. You get a flurry of emotions and butterflies, and immediately you think about, of course, the pressure, but that you're about to be part of cinematic history and something that's part of our cultural fabric.
And those scenes with Daniel Craig, they look very tense. What was that atmosphere like? What was your fondest moments working with Daniel Craig?
I think the moment you see Daniel, you just acknowledge that there's very little between him and 007. There's a sense of great leadership quality. You feel secure in his hands. At first, he can be quite intimidating as Bond, but as Daniel, a lot of that gets removed. So he's found a way to, really inhabit that character, but at the same time be a leader on set as Daniel and sometimes as Bond. And so there's a good safety net to have there, but when the camera starts rolling, it's fight or flight. And when you're looking Bond dead in the eye in those crisp blue eyes, you got to steel yourself because something magnetic's about to happen.
And the voice and the costume of yours is just so chilling. How did you go about researching and discovering the sound and the look of Safin?
That was again something from the beginning that Cary and I kept going back and forth on. Do we want him to sound of a particular place? I mean, we're I think inundated by a certain type of voice from a certain particular regions of the world that I didn't want anyone to get confused by. So I kind of used an amalgamation with the same dialect coach that I used for Bohemian Rhapsody. His name's William Conacher, and we just kept working on something, taking it to Cary. Cary would either approve or disapprove, and then finally we got something where the three of us just went, that is, that's something that's going to get underneath your skin. And I was working on Mr. Robot in New York with... when Suturat, our costume designer, would come out, and she would visit me on the weekends, and we would talk about the influence. Cary wanted a little bit of a Japanese influence. I wanted a little bit of sophistication as well, and we combined the two. Of course, there's the sophistication in the simplicity of the Japanese wardrobe as well. But we used Issey Miyake as a reference, and wanted to make sure that the way he looks wasn't compromised in any way by his need to look after himself and be quite elegant and sophisticated as well. So I think it's often with creating a character is a balance of what is unnerving and what is still familiar in a way.
Absolutely. Well, it looks like you nailed it. Rami Malek, an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Pleasure's mine.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey,